Okay. Let me be a commendable homie and get this out of the way before we start. Let me clear the air with you. Allow me to reveal all of my cards before our first date and baptize me in the truth. For I refuse to lie to you, my dear viewer. I am not, and literally have I never been, a Transformers guy. I know. Crazy times. As an early 2000s kid, it's easy to say that we were in the prime time, the peak form of kid entertainment when it came to the big three of Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network. And since that was the case, there were so many different directions a kid could go down: the mindless entertainment of SpongeBob, the underrated gems of Ben 10 or Danny Phantom, the live action kid adventure shows of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody or Hannah Montana. If you were based, then you were watching Avatar The Last Airbender and Jimmy Neutron. Or in the case that your parents hated you, well, you had PBS. Man, it's unfortunate because I know that definitely triggered some memories. Point is, I've never really been a Transformers kind of kid, therefore, never becoming a Transformers type of man. So when it comes to the Bayverse, or Bayformers, or the Bayformers verse, yeah, we gotta stop doing this with movie universes. The Bayverse, the Snyderverse. We're not fucking calling the MCU the Feigeverse, or the Harry Potter world the Rowlingverse. I'm like losing brain cells that we're calling it that. Point is, when it comes to Transformers, I have never really been a fan. And the movies haven't really helped that out since the franchise has been on the big screen, with me personally only seeing two out of the five released films just because I simply could not be bothered. Leading to the seventh installment of the franchise, Transformers Rise of the Beast, following a group of characters I've never seen before, Autobots that I don't really know if they're the same Autobots I've already seen, a storyline that I'm pretty sure was the storyline of all five of the Bayverse films, and a super gorilla. And while all of that sounds like it could be the makings of an awesome movie, and while admittedly, at times it was, I couldn't help shaking the feeling that we gotta reboot this shit. And this film is going to prove that for me. So stay with me, my dear viewer. Let's tackle everything I just said step by step and discuss Transformers Rise of the Reboot. Okay, so obviously I did enjoy Transformers Rise of the Beast. Yes, while there was nothing groundbreaking going on here, and it's not like you're going to leave the cinema with an enlightened mind or texting your best mates about some grand adventure that you just witnessed on your screen. There's definitely worse things that you can spend your money on. Trust me. At the end of the day, while it could be my fault for not watching the Bayverse films, or the fact that my little brain just can't decipher the mixed messaging from the directors and the producers of this film, I just had no idea what was going on in this film. Like at some point, I was so sure that I was watching Age of Ultron because I was like, wait, Iron Man, what are you doing in this film? Is this Fortnite? But let me tell you, that's not a good thing when you're just trying to watch transforming sentient robots blow shit up and send each other to the junkyard. The story follows Noah Reyes, a typical down on his luck type of kid just trying to make it in the tough streets of Brooklyn. The older brother is the man of the house type of situation. They even threw in the stereotype of a sick little brother for motivation. Really pulling out all of the stops in this movie, huh? Like I mentioned earlier, nothing groundbreaking going on here. But hear me out when I say this. After a crime gone wrong, yes, you heard me right. After a crime gone wrong with Protag-kun attempting to steal from the rich, like, I'm supposed to be rooting for this character. Oh, yeah, right, actually. Sick brother. Whoosh! Almost got by me. But obviously, you can guess what happens next. With Noah Reyes now introduced to the world of sentient robots via Mirage, and with the interesting choice to go with a pretty bland and vanilla reaction to all of that, let me tell you, there's no Sam Witwicky here. But this is where you really gotta stay with me. Noah's then recruited by the Autobots, the good Transformers that I have no idea if they are the same Transformers that I've seen before, but nevertheless, to help the Autobots retrieve a McMuffin to stop Omnicron, a Galactus type, but a Transformer, obviously, to feast on the living worlds for fuel and seemingly no other reason except to rule the world that doesn't exist anymore once he eats it. And also, it just happened to also eat Cybertron. I think. Are you are you starting to get what I'm saying here? It's just so confusing because is Cybertron dying just a canon event or something? And you might as well just get the popcorn now because the rant commences in three, two, one. What's going on here? Am I in the same universe as the Michael Bay movies? I'm not going to know until I post this video and I see your comments, therefore making it too late. But if we are in the same universe, are Optimus Prime and the Autobots just destined to do this for decades on end? Like, this film takes place in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure this is just the same plot line as every other movie. Just the Autobots trying to get some cybernetic McMuffin to bring back Cybertron. Like, how many McMuffins can there be? And I understand we're just talking about sentient robots that turn into cars and have photon cannons as arms. But my lord, can we get some structure back into our films? And because I didn't watch Transformers as a kid, and because of the research that I simply am not going to do, are the Transformers in this movie different from other Transformers? Man, it's so confusing, so stay with me. As an empty headed consumer such as myself, the movies seem to be telling me that the Super Gorilla faction, the Autobots, Omnicron, and the villain working under Omnicron are all different species of Transformers, but it seems like they all come from different planets. So are they the same species? I don't know. I just thought Transformers were Transformers. But unfortunately, it is making my head hurt. So I got. Man, my voice might sound a little different because I actually went and took a nap. But to get into the positives of the movie, we're going to have to hit on some light spoilers. I really like the Super Gorilla faction. I'm pretty sure they're called the Maximals. And basically, that whole concept of being an animal transformer is pretty awesome. I would be the worst at it because I would just want to be a giraffe or something pretty shit and get immediately wiped. But they were by far the most interesting aspect of the film itself. Optimus Prime wasn't an absolute psychopath in this movie, and while I didn't see three of the five Bayformer films, I do know that is a recurring theme for Optimus Prime's character. I've seen the montages, but in this film, he's just a normal character. The typical ridden with guilt and taking on the burden all on his shoulders type of deal, which is a good trope, always enjoyable. There was a villain in this movie. I'm pretty sure his name was Scorch. Maybe like Zurg or something. We'll just go with both. A Silver Surfer Herald type without the backstory, motivation, or moral dilemma. So he's just kind of a dick. A robot dick that lets people's world be eaten and laughs evilly. But this is when it really gets interesting. By the end, our main protagoon turned into Iron Man and fucking became a Transformer. It was actually insane. You could tell everybody in my theater had a collective mindset like, yo, what is going on? And while that was fun to watch, it was obviously insanely confusing. And that is not a successful formula for the long term. Lines should be drawn for the silly consumers such as myself. I'm not going to watch Dune. I'm going to watch Transformers. So I should know what the hell is going on. So while Transformers Rise of the Beast was not boring, and while it was definitely not bad, it will not be sticking around in this memory bank. And because of that, it's time for a reboot. Of course, as always, I want to thank you guys for watching the video, and if you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. If there's truly any advice that I could give to this franchise that desperately needs to reboot, I would say take notes from the Monsterverse. Man, and I know I made fun of the Bayverse and the Snyderverse and those dumb names, but Man, MonsterVerse is also just as fucking stupid. But let me tell you, they do what they do and they do what they do good. Nothing is too complicated, but they leave room for new ideas, minimum human characters, but just a couple that I can at least remember their names. And they put their IPs front and center, which is truly what I'm paying for to see on my screen. It's pretty simple when you actually think about it for more than 5 seconds, but a plan is always necessary. Just ask Lucasfilm. Make sure to leave you guys' comments down below on how you feel about the Transformers franchise, and please, by all means, please answer my questions, Transformers heads of the internet. By all means, I am willing to admit that I'm a dumbass. I am here. I am waiting. I am Batman.